are required to be trained to the highest possible standards and competence and integrity to respect human rights, fundamental freedoms, and dignity. Undoubtedly, the officers have committed themselves to their professional duty, and we have a tremendous improvement of policing in our country today because of these continuous reforms. We therefore applaud the personnel that have committed themselves to constitutional obligation of ensuring highest standards of professionalism and discipline. We condole with the families of those officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty. Regrettably, in the last 10 years, we have lost over 600 police officers directly in the line of duty while working to secure our country, to combat crime, and in enforcement of law and order, including during public protests. The strength and sustained growth of our nation could not have been possible without the brave, selfless, and dedicated service of our gallant security officers. Their commitment and sacrifice have been instrumental in ensuring the safety and stability we enjoy today. Nevertheless, we continue to face immense challenges in our pursuit of ideals enshrined in Article 244 of our Constitution. These challenges compel us to relentlessly strive for legal, institutional, and constitutional reforms aimed at enhancing the quality and the effectiveness of our police service. The Kriegler report laid a foundation towards police reforms in Kenya. Unfortunately, despite this well-intentioned framework and constitutional backing, meaningful reforms have stalled. Key challenges such as the limited operational independence, inadequate resourcing, and increased cases of police brutality and impunity have reversed much of the initial gain. As such, the promises and ideals of Kriegler report remain largely unfulfilled, even as public demand for a reformed, accountable, and rights-respecting police service continues to intensify. Upon assuming office in 2022, the President of the Republic of Kenya, His Excellency Dr. William Ruto, established a task force to look into critical reforms in the National Police Service, Kenya Prisons, and National Youth Service. The task force dutifully pointed to the need for several administrative, policy, and legislative reforms. Subsequently, on the 7th of March 2025, His Excellency the President entered a memorandum of understanding with the former Prime Minister, Right Honorable Raila Odinga, to promote and protect the livelihoods of young people and to guarantee the right to peaceful assembly and protest as provided for under Article 37 of our Constitution. It's against this high-level commitment that the Ministry is intensifying efforts to improve reforms aimed at fully realizing the ideals and aspirations espoused in the task force report and the memorandum. These reforms also at the backdrop of President's decision to ensure for the first time in the history of Kenya that the National Police Service operates independently with its independent accounting officer. To further pursuit of recommendations made by the task force, a technical committee on review and development of administrative, policy and legislative reforms was formed on the 23rd of August 2024. The technical committee, through the various joint secretaries, held consultative forums with the primary stakeholders. Through these consultations and the proposals submitted to the committee, the following draft bills and new legislation were deployed. The National Police Service Commission Act Amendment Bill to provide for a more robust and independent police commission. The National Police Service Act Amendment Bill to provide for improved working conditions, salaries, terms of service of the police officers. Further, to address issues of political interference, corruption, inadequate training, and structural challenges within the service. 3, Independent Policing Oversight Authority Amendment Bill to provide for further legislative framework, strengthening of IPOA to undertake its constitutional mandate. And then 4, the National Youth Service Amendment Bill to address wider strengthening of NYS with respect to logistical mobility and equipment. 5, Public Order Act Amendment Bill to provide for better management and enforcement of public law and order in the exercise of right of assembly, demonstrations, picketing and petition under Article 37 of the Constitution. The National Forensic Science Lab to provide support modernization efforts, including establishment of a national forensic laboratory to create 10 specialized units to handle different aspects of forensic science. The National Police Service Veterans and Fallen Heroes Bill to address various aspects of welfare of the veterans and the support system for families of the fallen soldiers. All these bills are in the final stage before they can be presented before Cabinet and then tabled in National Assembly and the Senate. As highlighted, it was not always the norm for the police that the police were held accountable for the actions in extrajudicial cases of police brutality. Post the 2010 Constitution, we have had remarkable accountability framework that have led to the punishment of police officers, such as in William Kimani murder in 2016, where 3 police officers were convicted of death for the murder of human rights lawyer Willie Kimani, his client Josephat Mwendwa, and their driver Joseph Mwiruri. B. Baby Samantha Pendo case of 2017, where 4 police officers were charged with the murder of 6-month-old baby Samantha Pendo, who was killed during post-election protests in Kisumu in 2017. 3. Martin Koome murder of 2013, where police officer at the rank of an OCS was found guilty and sentenced to death for torturing a suspect to death inside a cell. Among many other instances that the police have been dealt with, family for breach of law and the Constitution. Although we have experienced worse incidents in the past, the progressive nature of our law and policy will soon make such occurrences rare in our country. Incidents such as bodies being dumped in Yala River, the case of Indian nationals killed in a container at police station, cases of abductions, incarcerations, detention without trial, and recently the death of Mr. Albert Ojwang, while in the hands of police, among others, must be punished by law, and those involved will soon be held accountable. Globally, countries have made significant strides in attaining police reforms. Instances such as public outcry, social movements, and specific instances of violence or misconduct have led to significant and relatable scenarios of police reforms. As a government, we are duty-bound to uphold the highest possible standards in safeguarding the security and well-being of the people of Kenya. As the Cabinet Secretary responsible for internal security, I have initiated a program dubbed Jukwaa la Usalama as a proactive mission to engage Kenyans and the security organs in formulating priority areas of reform and enforcement of law. Our goals remain delivery of professional, accountable, and citizen-centered policing that meets the aspirations of our Constitution. To realize these objectives, the Ministry of Interior and National Administration remains firmly committed to pursuing reforms through adherence to the Constitution, continuous legislation, policy and administrative reforms, and adoption of international best practices. Upon consultation and introspection of the past and current incidents of police excesses, and in the aspiration of fulfillment of constitutional standards under Article 244, I have today directed the implementation of the following policy reforms framework in the National Police Service. First, on CCTV surveillance, it shall be mandatory to equip police stations with CCTV surveillance to enhance transparency and accountability. All the police stations currently standing at 1,209 shall have CCTV surveillance within the next 2 years. We shall be making proposals to Parliament to enact laws that criminalize tampering with CCTV cameras. The surveillance system shall be in the custody of the officer commanding station, and the said officer shall be required to ensure that the system is always functioning, and instances of fault, it shall be reported within 1 hour through the established chain of command. The CCTV shall have an external backup system. It's important for Kenyans to know that the current stations that have CCTVs are not CCTVs that are sanctioned fully by the National Police Service. It was the initiative of the individual police stations. Now this shall be mandatory for the entire 1,209 police stations and other police stations that shall be constructed. 2, digitization of occurrence book. Over the next 1 year, and in line with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda program of digitization, we shall roll out a digital reporting system. This is a reform that has been initiated, and we are now committed to the digitization of occurrence books to ensure all reported incidences can be traced and be tamper-proof. 3, community policing initiative. Every police station shall be mandated to adopt and steer community policing models to improve relations with citizens. This integration with the local community will lead to greater accountability and improvement of working relations. 4, regular audits, evaluations, and performance review. I have directed an immediate establishment of a policy framework for conducting independent audits of police practices, procedures, and use of resources to ensure compliance with established policies and identify areas for improvement. Working together with civil society, religious leaders, and other stakeholders, we shall ensure regular audits and evaluation with awards to the best police officers, police stations, among others. We are creating systems that evaluate officers' performance based not just on enforcement metric, but also community relations and adherence to requisite ethical standards. This framework shall establish both the criteria for reward and sanction of respective police officers. 5, training and education. I have directed the establishment of continuous professional development training on all officers beginning with the OCSs, who shall be required to undertake minimum training annually on set of constitutional standards of the National Police Service, as shall be developed in the curriculum. This marks the first step in restoring professionalism, discipline, and service excellence across all ranks. To achieve this, we shall work closely with the National Treasury